Okay, so we're going to look at courgettes today. It is UK courgette season. Now, courgettes are one of those vegetables that glut. They're like a bus. There's nothing and then all of a sudden everything comes along at the same time. Everyone's used to the idea of having this excessive glut of courgettes. So we're going to look at 2 ideas for cooking courgettes that sit either side probably of most people's comfort zone. People tend to roast them or fry them in a pan. We're going to do one which is raw, and the other side we're going to do one which is slow cooked. So we're going to keep it simple. We're going to use garlic, lemons, courgettes and olive oil. Then we're going to start with this salad, and it couldn't be simpler. We're going to pull these courgettes into long ribbon-like strips using a peeler. That's all we need. And then we're going to dress it with garlic, lemon and olive oil. We could chop the garlic and throw it into the bowl with the courgettes, but actually raw garlic is an acquired taste. Some people love lots of it, some people can't bear it. So actually we're going to do it very, very subtly. What we're going to do is we're going to take a clove of garlic and we're just going to cut it in half lengthways and expose the inside. We're going to take the bulb and we're going to run the bulb around the inside of the bowl, and that's going to give a little hint of raw garlic taste. So when we put the olive oil and the lemon juice in and throw it all together, you'll get this faint hint of garlic. Now if you want a stronger taste of garlic, by all means mince or finely chop some garlic and add it at the end. With this salad you're going to dress it to your taste. With the courgettes, make sure they're clean and then get yourself a speed peeler, and then you just want to pull long strips from the top to the bottom. After every 2 or 3 pulls with the peeler, turn it and keep moving around the courgette, and you'll create these beautiful long ribbons. And it gives the courgettes lots of surface area to carry the dressing. If your courgettes are slightly large and the cores are a bit seedy and soft, you can take it down to the core and then just put the core to one side and use it to cook in something else later. So you just do that with all 3 of your courgettes until you've got a bowl full of these ribbons. So we've got plenty of courgettes all in there now, and then literally all we need to do is dress that with lemon juice and oil. And I would give you quantities, but I would say this is to your taste. If you chop a lemon in half and try and squeeze it, the pips always come out when you're trying to catch them with your hand or having to put it over a sieve. What I tend to do is I cut a little cheek off one side, and it avoids the pips in the center of the lemon and gives you a good clean piece to squeeze pip free. So we're going to do a little squeeze of lemon juice. Now we dress it just before we serve it because the lemon juice will start to wilt the courgettes a little bit. We're going to give it a little bit of olive oil and a little pinch of salt, and then we'll mix it and then we'll taste it just to see what we think. Now that's the very basic version of the salad. You could throw some fresh chopped chili in there. You could finely slice some fennel or some green beans to go in there. Whatever's fresh and summery and in season can be built into this salad. We've got a little bit of French tarragon in the tunnels at the moment, so I'm just going to add a little bit of tarragon. So that's taken about 3 minutes or so to put that salad together, and as long as you dress it just before you serve it so it's squeaky fresh, you just pile that straight into a bowl and serve it immediately. Okay, so the next dish we're going to do is slow cooked Courgette pasta sauce. We're going to take this kind of fresh summery veg and then we're going to cook it down for about half an hour or so. It will slowly cook down into this kind of thick, rich sauce. There's some veg that you think that you always need to cook quick, but actually you cook them slow and they might start to look a bit suspect and a bit wrong, but actually the flavours really intensifies as you cook the courgettes down. You want to slice them as finely as you can so they kind of cook down into this big mess. You're not going to get any large chunks in there. I tend to do it on a mandolin because I get really wafer thin slices and I pile it into the pan, and it gives it a great surface area and it cooks down and it breaks down really nicely. If you don't want to use a mandolin, you're worried about your fingertips, you could actually just grate it on a box grater as well. You get the same effect. It feels and looks slightly different. So I just nip off the end of the courgette and then put my mandolin on a really fine slice. So that's what looked like not a lot of courgettes, and all of a sudden we have a slightly intimidating pile. Now what we're going to do is get it on to cook. We're just going to put a little bit of olive oil into the bottom of the pan, and we're going to warm it up a little bit. We're just going to pile all those courgettes in. Now we don't want the heat too high. We don't want it to fry and sizzle in there. What we want it to do is slowly cook, and those courgettes will start to release the moisture inside of them, and that will stop it sticking against the pan. And we just keep a constant eye on it. Just make sure it's not drying out too much. We're just going to pile it in. We're going to add a little pinch of salt in there, and that salt helps to draw the moisture out. And we put it on there and we just have it on a nice steady heat. We're going to clamp the lid on. We don't necessarily want to lose the moisture at that point. And we just give it 20 minutes of constantly stirring and checking and kind of ticking it along on a low heat. So we're about 10 minutes into that 20-minute cook. Just out of interest, going to have a look in there. You can see how much water has actually come off the courgettes without the need to add anything. So they're starting to collapse and break down, and there's plenty of water. It's kind of nice and safe, and with the lid on, you get this kind of steamy cooking atmosphere. So they're doing really, really well. And we're just going to check them all the way through that until that 20-minute phase, see if they need any extra liquid at all. Okay, it's had about 20 minutes now, and we've been checking it as it goes. It is starting to dry out in the bottom of the pan, but you can see that it's quite noticeably collapsed down, kind of probably about 1/3 of the volume of when we started, and it's starting to break down into a sauce. Now at this stage, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add about 2 cloves of finely chopped garlic, and we're going to add a little dash of water in there to help it carry on for another 10 or 15 minutes. And again, we're going to check it at regular intervals to make sure that it's not catching. Give it a good stir, pop that lid back on. So now this has had about 10 or 15 minutes, and it really has cooked down into a rich sauce. And as we've been going, been helping it along with a little bit of pasta water. So we're just going to add a little bit of extra water in here to just give it a bit more of a sauce-like consistency. And you can see that coming together into a rich green sauce. Now it's finished. Right at the end, we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice. We're just going to take the cheek side off a lemon, and then we're going to add a little tweak of lemon juice to it. Okay, so that sauce is finished now. You can serve it just as is with the pasta, keep it vegan, or if you want to enrich it a little bit, I just add a tablespoon of creme fraiche to the mix. And then what we're going to do, stir that in, and then we're going to tip our pasta in and throw it all together. I'm just going to finish it with a little bit of parmesan, but again, that is optional, and that is slow cooked courgette pasta. Okay, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave comments below of any veg you'd like to see us cook with or talk about, and hit the notification button to keep up to date with our weekly veg videos. Thanks.